This is a little girl you definitely don't want to mess with. But there are just some people who don't believe in evil. One day the little girl was riding a bike on the road. Unexpectedly, two hooligans took several photos of her, although they didn't show any obvious flaws. The security guard still noticed something was wrong. He immediately made a motion to draw his gun. Only then did the other party drive away. At first the security guard didn't take this matter to heart, but when he accompanied the girl to go shopping, he saw that motorcycle again. This instantly gave him an ominous premonition. He knew that the other party had bad intentions. Then he quickly drove away. In the early morning the other party also started to accelerate, and closely followed behind. Fortunately, the security guard was skilled in driving. He took advantage of the red light interval to shake off the other party. However, this group of people didn't know that this security guard uncle in front of them was a special forces soldier that people feared at the mere mention of due to years of fighting on the battlefield. He suffered from post-war syndrome. Helplessly, he could only end his military career ahead of time. He thought that staying away from war would relieve his symptoms, but unexpectedly the truth was just the opposite. He thought that being away from war would ease his symptoms, but it turned out to be the opposite. He was not only often awakened by the killings in his dreams, sometimes he even hurt himself uncontrollably because he couldn't bear the torment of the pain. The man went to the bar every day to indulge himself. His brother Arya thought that going on like this wasn't a solution, so he recommended that he should go to work as a security guard for a Middle Eastern tycoon who came for a vacation. In order not to make his brother worry about him anymore, Kai resolutely agreed. However, what he didn't expect was that this was actually a conspiracy against him. Soon Kai arrived at the tycoon's house and met his protection target, a little girl named Zara. Although she was young, in the following days, she made Kai experience a different kind of suffering. Zara's frequent pranks made him miserable. However, with continuous contact with her, Kai found that Zara wasn't as willful as she seemed. On the surface, it was just her disguise. It was a means for her to protect herself, and the relationship between the two also gradually warmed up. They became good friends who could talk about anything. He really thought that it would remain so peaceful. However, on this day, while Kai was picking up a package, Zara suddenly left the house. He hurriedly went after her. The scene at the beginning of the story occurred. After getting home, he immediately found Zara. He wanted to figure out what was going on, and Zara told him the truth. It turned out that her father, for the sake of business dealings, was going to marry her to a 60-year-old business partner, and the partner was a complete pervert. In order to prevent her from falling into such a situation, she resolutely ran away with her. Then she took out a computer and showed Kai the place where she used to live. While the two were talking, a group of bandits suddenly appeared in the manor. The bodyguards immediately engaged in battle. Even the police dog rushed forward without hesitation. Seeing this, Kai quickly told Zara to hide. Then he joined the battle. The moment the bandits appeared, Kai launched an attack directly. He easily took care of them in just a few moves. Then he went downstairs, but he found that the bodyguards of the villa had all been killed one after another. Realizing that the other side came prepared, he quickly went back to Zara's room, but found that she wasn't there anymore. Kai quickly went to look for her. At the same time, Zara's mother Arya was hiding in the cabinet. Trembling with fear, she accidentally made a noise and alerted the bandits. The bandits immediately went up to check, but at this moment, fortunately, Kai arrived in time. She managed to escape danger. Then he took Arya to the car. Unexpectedly, they just heard Zara's cry for help. Kai rushed to rescue her. Taking advantage of the bandits' inattention, he descended from the sky directly and completely dealt with them. Then he drove the mother and daughter away from the manor and left the manor. But the bandits obviously wouldn't let them go like this. They immediately launched a pursuit of them. At a crossroads, he was not flying by Kai, who suddenly appeared. Although they temporarily escaped the capture of the other side, but Kai, who was a special forces soldier, didn't let down his guard. He threw away all the communication devices and also abandoned their only escape vehicle. After that, he took the two of them and got on a bus. Only then did they completely get rid of the bandits' pursuit. However, not long after that, Kai saw something unbelievable on the news. He had actually become the murderer who killed the bodyguards of the manor. In order to figure out what exactly happened, he found his brother Arya and went to the manor with him. But they found that the house, which was originally covered in blood, was actually brand new at this time. Then the two of them checked the surveillance, and the displayed picture shocked him. He actually seemed to have become a murderer. At this moment, Kai also began to have doubts. Could it really be that he did it? Why didn't he have any impression of it? Just when he was extremely depressed, Arya noticed something strange. He quickly called Kai over. It turned out that the surveillance footage skipped a frame, and that frame was exactly the scene of the hound biting the bandit. Obviously, the surveillance had been deeply forged by the other side. This kind of technology couldn't be mastered by ordinary people. There was a high possibility that the military was involved. At this time, Kai also realized the seriousness of the matter. If they dragged it on any longer, Zora might be in even more danger. So he decided to take her out of this country as soon as possible, but now the few of them had been targeted by the intelligence department. If they wanted to leave, they could only choose to smuggle out. Finally, with the help of Aurea, they successfully found a way to escape. The few of them didn't hesitate. The group didn't hesitate. They were about to set off immediately. However, they hadn't gone far when Kai discovered a suspicious vehicle again. To confirm the identity of the people in it, he quickly drove the car into the service area. Sure enough, the other side followed closely. How powerful is the insight of a top special forces soldier? Just as the woman lightly touched his arm, she was instantly noticed by the man. After the woman left, he quickly followed her. As expected, she really got into that vehicle. The man didn't hesitate. He directly opened the car door and got in. Without saying a word, he directly took out a syringe and stabbed it into the woman's palm. Then, he immediately engaged in a fight with the others. Although the other side had the numerical advantage, Kai wasn't afraid at all. He made decisive moves. He quickly knocked several of them to the ground. Then, he went over to the bandit. He opened the bandit's clothes. Sure enough, he saw the marks left by the hound's bite. It seemed that he hadn't made a mistake. Then Kai left there and continued the journey with Zora and the others. They still had a long way to go. After 2 days of traveling, the group finally reached the border. Under Aurea's arrangement, they successfully found the smuggling vehicle. But at this moment, Zora started to have second thoughts because she had claustrophobia. It was not until Kai promised to leave with her that Zora walked into the crowded carriage. With the cabin door closing, the group's smuggling journey began. They thought everything would go smoothly. Unexpectedly, the vehicle stopped not long after they started. Kai instantly had a bad premonition. Then the cabin door was opened. The cruel actions of the bandits scared Zora so much that she was in a panic. She kept shouting loudly. It was not until the bandit gave her an injection that she completely quieted down. Then they took her to the car and drove away. Not long after, Kai woke up inside the carriage. Thanks to the bulletproof vest, he was lucky enough to survive. After that, using a forklift, Kai successfully escaped from the carriage, and his burden began from then on. In order to rescue Zora as soon as possible, he found his comrade in arms. He wanted to borrow the other's plane to make a high-difficulty parachute jump. The location above was exactly Zora's former home. With the help of his comrade, he quickly reached the designated location. With the cabin door opening, Kai leaped out from a high altitude. He successfully locked the direction using a night vision device. Then, he opened the parachute and slowly floated towards the building. Although he successfully landed on the rooftop, the huge buffer pulled him to slide continuously. Fortunately, Kai reacted quickly. He cut the parachute pack in time and managed to steady himself. Then, he opened his backpack and started checking his equipment. After everything was ready, Kai walked into the building. First, he used a weapon that could turn corners and successfully shot down the surveillance camera. Then, he hacked into the other side's surveillance system and successfully found the room where Zora was being held. Kai didn't hesitate. He immediately headed in that direction. Before the two guards could react, they were knocked to the ground by Kai one after another. Using the room card on one of the guards, Kai opened the door and successfully found Zora, who had been captured. But before the two of them could leave, the alarm of the building went off. Then all the lights started to go out. Kai didn't dare to hesitate. He quickly took Zora and left, and the guards followed closely. The two sides immediately engaged in a fight. Accidentally, the two of them broke into a room. Unexpectedly, it was the other side's treasure chamber. Before he could come to his senses, danger came right after. The man quickly took cover and looked for the best position to fight back. As a dense stream of bullets kept firing, the priceless antiques were also shattered. Seeing that this wasn't going to work, Kai took out a stun grenade and threw it directly at the feet of the enemy. With the explosion going off, the bandits were instantly dazed. Kai saw the opportunity and immediately launched a counterattack. He quickly killed all the bandits. Then the two of them took the elevator all the way to the top floor. Unexpectedly, they found bandits as soon as they went out. Kai directly lay on the ground and launched an attack the moment before the enemy came in. He caught the enemy completely off guard. Then, he set off the fire sprinklers. The moment the water started spraying out, Kai quickly opened the door and threw a smoke grenade at the enemy. He resolutely launched an attack and engaged in close combat with the bandits. He quickly took down the bandits. The opponent's attack was really too fast. Kai quickly used the bandit as a human shield. Then, he launched another counterattack. Although he successfully eliminated all the bandits, Kai was already exhausted, but he didn't dare to stop. He was about to take Zora and continue to flee. However, just at this moment, he didn't expect that there was still a bandit who had escaped. Then they immediately fought each other, but the previous battle had already consumed too much of Kai's physical strength. He quickly fell into a disadvantageous position. As the bandit exerted more and more force, Kai's breathing became more and more difficult. At this moment, he looked at Zora. He summoned up his courage, picked up a weapon, and stabbed it into the bandit. The intense pain made the bandit release Kai. Then, he came towards Zora. Zora was so scared that she kept shouting for help. In this critical moment, the bandit was suddenly knocked to the ground. It was Kai who had woken up. He didn't stop his actions until the other side was completely motionless. Then the two of them went to Zora's father's bedroom. Looking at the other side's photo, Kai instantly had a new idea. He wanted to get rid of him as well. Unexpectedly, he was stopped by Zora. Under her continuous begging, Kai put down his weapon. Then the two of them went to the top floor. Looking at the hundreds of meters deep abyss, Zora refused repeatedly out of fear. But this was the only escape route at present. Persuaded by Kai, she could only reluctantly agree to be fastened together with him, and experienced being a real flying man in the air. Finally, Zora was successfully rescued, and she lived an ordinary life with Kai. This film ends here. That's all for this time. See you in the next video. Bye bye.